Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. And as always, our show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're checking into the show. We appreciate the check-in. Merry Christmas to all. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. As you can see behind me, it's 11:32 a.m., December 25th, 2025. Talk about Christmas real quick, man, before we get into how the NBA stole Christmas back. Um, I had a good Christmas. My son's home from college. My daughter's growing up. She's going into her second portion of her junior year. The wife's happy. I'm happy. Didn't do a whole lot of gifts this year. It's been a real adjustment, just being honest, with tuition and trying to get ready for my daughter's senior year. So I kind of wasn't really into the Christmas spirit until this week and starting a new job, which is crazy. But I would say to the people checking in, man, if you're going through something or, the holidays are a rough time for you, man, just sit down, man, pray about it, meditate, man. It's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? You'll get through it. It's a rough time, man, but just try to enjoy the people that you love, whether it's family, friends, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that show them some appreciation. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but Christmas is to me it's my favorite holiday of the year for sure. So yeah, it's been a good Christmas. A little different, but definitely a good Christmas, man. Listen, the NBA actually stole Christmas back from the NFL. That's the title of this particular episode, and we're not gonna get into it a whole lot, but I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. And the reason why they stole it back is because the NFL never had it. The NFL did get a little greedy, start throwing games on there, and you. This is where I think the NFL is going to realize like this might not be a good idea. I'm not saying that they're going to stop it. Of course, they're making money; they're going to continue to do it. But the NFL season is almost over with, so it's a lot of teams out there beat up. Now, at the beginning of the year, it looks like a great idea to have Dallas and Washington playing at 1:00. Now, neither one of them are in the playoff hunt. Mariota's out. It's not a good watch. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good watch. And at 12:00, the Knicks are playing the Cavs. I think the Vikings play at 4:00. Now I'm gonna check into the Vikings game. I'm a Vikings fan. If you're a fan of these teams, you're gonna watch the game. But just the general overall public is not looking to really be clocked into the NFL today. I don't think so. There's nothing on the line for any game. Kansas City playing Denver in the late game. Nobody cares. Detroit playing Minnesota. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. Now, on the NBA side of things, you got the Cavs and the Knicks. Should be a pretty good game. Spurs and OKC. Definitely going to draw a lot of attention. Warriors, Mavs, Houston, and the Lakers. And then you got the Nuggets are playing somebody. I forget who they playing. Minnesota. Yeah, they playing Minnesota. So that's how football is always, it has a shot. They're not going to stop putting games on Christmas because they're making money, especially with the way that they're broadcasting it. But yeah, you're not going to steal it from the NBA because this is the beginning of the NBA season, really. So all the stars are valid, and even the ones that aren't playing or haven't been playing are definitely trying to make that Christmas Day game. Luka Doncic didn't play the last couple. I think the last game they already announced he's playing today. It's a Christmas Day. It's a big day for basketball. It will always be a big day for basketball. You're just gonna get some football sprinkled in too. So that's my take on it, man. They never really stole it in the first place, but the NBA is definitely stealing it back today. All right. But let's talk about the games today, man. I'm going to give y'all some prize picks. I might be able to post my parlay up there this time, man. Shout out to Prize Picks, man. Come on, man. I need that subscription. Let's get to it, man. NBA Christmas Day games coming up now. All right, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about my picks for Christmas Day NBA action. All right. First game of the day, we got the Cavs and the Knicks. The Cavs, I think, are going to come in and play very well. I'm picking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks in this game, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm taking the Knicks because the Knicks have shown me last year and a lot of this year that no matter how good a team is playing, they will find a way to wear you down. Cat, I don't love, but Cat's a big piece. Jalen Brunson, OG, Miles Bridges, Josh Hart. I mean, listen, they got a lot of pieces over there with the Knicks, and Mike Brown, it looks like he's got to kind of buy in early right now. I'm going to take the Knicks in a close one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way, but the Knicks, I will say this. The Knicks will give you that performance that make you say, what the fuck? What is this shit? Make you think they gambling because ain't no way. That they just are notorious for it. But I'm taking the Knicks today. I think Brunson's going to be a little bit too much. I think Miles Bridges has a good game. He wasn't really a factor in that last game against San Antonio when they beat them for the cup. I know they've played since then, but I haven't really checked out the Knicks since then, so that's what I got to refer to. I know Jalen Brunson hit a game winner against Indiana, but, Indiana don't have double-digit wins on the season, so respect it, but it's going to be a little different. You know what I mean? This is two teams that are kind of going to clash in the playoffs more than likely. So it should be a good watch, man, but I'm going to take the Knicks in that game. Let's move to the 2 o'clock game. I think it's 2:40 or something like that. The Spurs and OKC. I think this is the best game of the day besides the late game. The LeBron and KD thing has lost a little bit luster. KD is still playing at a high level. LeBron playing at a high level, but he's 42 years old, man. I mean, he's 40. He's over 40, bro. I'm not that very much interested, but the Lakers are a good team, and the Houston is a good team. I think it'll be a good game to watch to see, what it actually looks like when the Lakers are having to go up against some of the more elite talent in the West, and see what it looks like. It'll be a little extra juice on the game, but we'll see. But the OKC and the Spurs game, I do think this is going to be the best game of the day. I think OKC is going to be looking for a little get back from the NBA Cup. The Spurs talking a lot of shit. Wemby was talking a lot of shit after the game in a very political way, speaking about beautiful basketball and talking about how OKC just, the way they play. Shea does a lot of flopping. He does. Great player, MVP, well-deserved. Had a historic year last year and is off to a great start this year, but he does do a good bit of flopping. And this is something that they're complaining about because of the way that the Thunder play defense. The Thunder beat the shit out you out there, man. They you can say they're physical, cool. Let's call it physical, but they foul a lot, bro. Like, they foul a lot, and it doesn't get called. But, you got to adjust to it and adjust to the gameplay. I think the Spurs is a bad matchup for OKC. I think if it was the playoffs, I would probably take OKC just because San Antonio's still so young at this point, but it's not a good matchup as the years go on for OKC. And if De'Aaron Fox can start really putting his fingerprints on every game, maybe even look to be a closer for that team. I know they're going to push Wemby, but I think De'Aaron Fox is a great look to be a closer, a guy that you can get to hit big shots down the stretch. The Spurs, they're very dangerous. Very dangerous, man. Very dangerous. So I'm gonna take OKC in this game, though. I think it is gonna be a little bit get back. I think it's gonna be some hometown cooking. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure it's gonna be close, but I hope to see a good game. But for real, I don't think it's gonna be close in that particular game. We're gonna move to the later games in the evening in the next segment. Quick stop. I needed to make sure I bring this up. Y'all haven't seen me since I gotten my hardware from the Sacks in the City League that I play with at work, fantasy football. Yes, sir. You see it. Number one. Number one. I'm also sipping a little Christmas drink. It's early. I ain't got shit to do. I don't go back to work to Monday, so it is what it is. But before I go to the later games, man, I want to talk about this Draymond Green situation. And they were talking about it on Gil's Arena. They were talking about, Kenyon was like, you got to grow up, you got to be mature. Nick Young was like, I thought he was being mature by leaving away. You can't really pay attention to a lot of what Nick Young says. That's the one thing I realized about TV, man. Like, they all characters, bro. They all characters. Everybody has a job to do. They have a job to play their character. I'm not saying that they're fake. Some of them are. Some of them are very fabricated. But, when you have those particular free-form YouTubes and things like that, it's still about drawing attention. It's the reason why I only got a certain amount of followers, because I don't do my show a certain type of way. And it's not because I don't want to, it's just I don't have the pieces to do so. You know what I mean? But I'm happy doing this. I'm happy talking because the people who do comment, they're really watching the show. But as far as the Draymond situation, my personal opinion of it is enough is enough. How many times do you have to put your team in a bad situation because you can't control your emotion? Period. I don't give a fuck what the issue was. I don't care, bro, because whatever it is, you made a scene off of a game y'all won. You know what I mean? Like, you have frustrations. You can be frustrated. He's a competitor. I expect him to be frustrated, especially if things aren't going the way that you want them to go, or that that your team has prepared for him to go. But that's just losing control of your emotions. The same thing with DK Metcalf. It's a lot of people saying, "Oh, that fan deserved to beat Jaw Jack." He probably did. Yeah, he absolutely did. But did you deserve to lose $500,000 because you walked over to the fan while he's screaming some obscenity to you, whatever it was? Was it worth the $500,000 that you now have to lose? I guess because you're a multimillionaire. Yeah, it was worth it. No, it's not worth it, bro. That's stupid. That's a goofy ass example. That was dumb. You should have had better control of your emotions, dog. You can't grow up and be like, oh, Jackie Robinson and these guys, and look what they dealt with, and da. And you can't take it every now and again. And you making way, 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 way more fucking money than those guys back in the day had to deal with this shit. Should you have to deal with it? Fuck no. Fuck no. It should be a real investigation into seeing exactly what that fucking fan said. And Detroit Lions step up to the motherfucking plate. Get his ass out of here. That's not the type of money we want, but that's on them. You can only control what you can control. So not having your emotions intact, I'm not sure I can ever forgive that. I can understand to a point, but I can't ever really forgive that, man. I can't forgive that. And Draymond has done it way, way too much. Way too much for me, man. So I'm not with it. But, that's just my little 2 cents on the situation. Let's move to the later games. We got the Rockets, Lakers, Minnesota, and Denver. And it's another game that I'm missing out on. Oh, Golden State and the Mavs. The Golden State Warriors are playing the Dallas Mavericks, which should be great. Clay returning back home, Anthony Davis, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. All the stars are playing, man, so it should be a good game. Cooper Flag has been hooping lately, and it's a lot of y'all was screaming and saying that he was a bust as a number 1 pick after like 10 games. This is why everybody and every idiot with the internet shouldn't get a microphone and be able to say what the fuck they want to say. Because now he looking like one of the best rookies ever of all time. He about to be breaking some scoring record by LeBron or youngest to a certain amount of points. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, ain't no way you can evaluate a player after 10 games. And that's where we are in the world. It's just like people just say shit for a reaction. It's whether you hating on LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, whoever. If you saying you done with the 90s and shit like that, like, it's just a general statement. It's rage bait. I'm not with it. I'm going to figure out a way to take advantage of that algorithm, but I'm not with that. That's just goofy shit, man. I like Golden State at home, though, against the Mavs. The Mavs have been playing good ball lately. Anthony Davis looks a little bit more in shape. Cooper Flag coming along, and they got good guards. Ryan Nembhard's brother, very good player. Max Christie coming along a little bit. So they're going to give them I think Anthony Davis, though, is going to be a problem for Golden State. He's going to be, I took him in a demon on Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. Where's my goddamn sponsorship? I spent a lot of money with y'all. Spent a lot of money with you, Diamond. Shit. But no, I like Golden State today, but the Mavs have been playing good, better basketball. I think it'll be a close game. The Mavs got a shot because I just think the Warriors don't have any matchup for Anthony Davis, like, at all. Quentin Post ain't getting it done. The other young fella ain't getting it done. Not against Anthony Davis. If the Mavericks are smart, which they got a very high IQ basketball coach, Jason Kidd will take advantage of that, and he'll make sure Anthony Davis has a big day, and that will help my parlay a lot too. Lakers and the Rockets, man. Lakers and the Rockets, I'm very intrigued by the game. I'm not saying it's going to be a great game, but I am intrigued by this game. These are two teams that are supposed to be one of the elites out west. Lakers, not so much unless you're an actual Laker fan. I think a lot of people are able to see the deficiencies with the Lakers. But the Rockets really only have the deficiency of not having their actual starting point guard right now. And they're still out here with a good record, beating good teams. Kevin Durant looks fabulous. He does. Amen Thompson is a superstar in the waiting. Not Jabari Parker. I forget the young man's name. He went to Auburn. Y'all got to forgive me. It's Christmas morning. You already know I'm under the influence. But he is he's slowly coming along, and I think in a good way. He's becoming a consistent guy every night, and he's going out there and just doing what the team needs. If the team needs him to score 20 points, he's scoring 20 points. If they only need 10, but they needed you to get 8, 9 rebounds, he's doing that. He's playing great defense. I think he's coming along, and he's going to be a big player for the Rockets down the stretch. I like Houston in this game. I would love to. I want to pick the Lakers. You know, I'm a LeBron fan. I want to pick the Lakers. I just don't think it's going to be enough from the Lakers, and I don't think they're going to be able to guard. I think that Houston's going to get to the paint a lot. I think Durant has a big day, and I think Houston's going to dominate on the inside. Now, the intriguing part is, can the Lakers counter that? This is their problem last year when they faced the Minnesota team. Like Rudy Gobert looked like Shaquille O'Neal out there. They just dominated the Lakers because they can't guard the perimeter, so you can't stop guys from getting into the paint. Once you get into the paint in college, NBA, that defense is broken down. You need to have some athletes to make some things happen because somebody's going to kick it out to a three-pointer for a waiting corner three, or your guys are getting dunked on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of pick your poison, and that's why the perimeter defender is very important in the NBA right now. A good perimeter defender. Most of the best teams have good perimeter defense. The teams that are kind of so-so because they're offensively gifted, Lakers, people like that, yeah, that's where you run into that problem, man. So it'll be interesting to see if DeAndre Ayton can be a factor. I think he's going to play a big role in this game tonight. I'm not saying, you know, he's the MVP or anything like that, but if he can be a paint presence and stay in the game and not be in foul trouble, I think that does give the Lakers a very good chance of winning, you know, in the Staples Center. So we'll see about that one. And the last game, which is the Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I love this matchup. This is up there with the OKC and San Antonio game, I think, because Anthony Edwards is such a star, in my opinion. He's my favorite player behind LeBron James. I ain't gonna lie, Cade Cunningham is really, really, really growing on me though. I can't front. I'm super impressed by Cade Cunningham, man. And Stephen Castle too, man. So it's a lot of young talent in the NBA that's very, very good. But Anthony Edwards just has that it factor. He puts you in the mind frame of Jordan and Kobe because of the way he scores the ball. He's a bucket getter, but he's also a hell of a defender, just like they were. He's exciting to watch play. You know, it's a crazy play happening anywhere around, but he hasn't been healthy over the past 2 years. Not necessarily like season-ending injuries, but just out enough spurts to where he has to kind of find that rhythm and get back. And right now, he's in a rhythm. You know, I think the last 5 games, he's averaging close to 30. Julius Randle looks good for them. It's going to be interesting to see how they guard Nikola Jokic. I'm always interested in that. I know Jokic has boring play and is not, you know, for the casuals, it's not very, very exciting, but it's very interesting to watch teams try to defend him, to me. It's very interesting to watch what you choose as your poison and what you're actually valuing when it comes to the Nikola Jokic. And most teams, from what I've seen, try to make him score. That will be my approach too, is to try to make him score. I want to try to shut down the rest of this shit. The problem is he can score. He can score, and he can score in bunches. And it's going to be hard, man, for Minnesota to deal with that. But with Naz Reid, what's my man name? Rudy Gobert, Jaden Daniels. I like Minnesota in this game. But the Nuggets are a very, very sneaky, tough team in that Western Conference. They are a very sneaky, tough team. Truth be told, again, I think OKC is the best team in the NBA. I think the record speaks for itself, but I don't think they're dominating anybody. If I'm OKC, I don't want to play Denver. If you give them a healthy roster, healthy Aaron Gordon, and again, Denver's playing without Aaron Gordon. That's a big piece that they're missing, and all they're doing is getting Cam Johnson acclimated. All they're doing is getting Bruce Brown more minutes. Peyton Watson. These guys play a huge role when you get Aaron Gordon back and you get in the playoffs and a guy gets in foul trouble. Now you got a guy who's got game time experience to come in and be able to deliver. And this is what makes the difference when teams win playoff series, in my opinion. You know, the difference is OKC had that. Indiana had that. And that's why they were in the finals. You know what I mean? Of course, injuries and things of that nature, but that's why they were in the finals. And I think that's what Denver did this year. I thought the Cam Johnson trade was great for them. I do like Minnesota in this game, though. I like Anthony Edwards to be fucking unstoppable today. I think Julius Randle has a little bit of a chip on the shoulder. I think he's going to go toe-to-toe with Jokic, but he has to be smart. He cannot get in foul trouble. If he gets in foul trouble, again, Minnesota's kind of deep too. Naz Reid can play, but I just don't think you want Naz Reid getting the majority of the minutes. He's more effective when he's coming in and Randall's actually getting rest and he's still able to keep the scoring going. He's still able to rebound. He's still able to defend. When he's got to bear the bulk of the load because of somebody being in foul trouble, that team kind of changes. And Conley has to be effective. I'm not sure if they're going to put him on Jamal Murray or they're going to go another route, but he has to be effective. He doesn't have to score. He just has to be steady. That's probably my upset pick of the day. We'll call it the upset pick of the day. I like Minnesota to beat the Denver Nuggets, man. But listen, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Quick episode, man. I appreciate the check-in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Follow the page. Follow our Instagram, TikTok, everything. We're going to be way more consistent going into 2026. Have a safe, very Merry Christmas. Be safe. Love on those who love you. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. Front Office Podcast, Tees and Trees is the clothing line. Peace.